Are you waiting for me?
Oh yeah, I totally am. You're watching a video. It's not like I can just start the podcast just right now or whatever.
You could.
Wait, what? Wait, I'm getting something. Wait. What do you mean we already started? Who the hell's in charge of this? Who's doing the stupid editing? That guy should be fired right now. Why would we start? Why would we? Fine, we're starting. It's whatever. No, leave the stupid freaking room. Jeez.
Talent. It's so hard to find good help.
I know,
nowadays.
right? Yeah. As soon as that guy's fired, I mean, we're probably going to spend 4 months off the air and then come back more crappy.
They hit the big red button that says record before we're ready.
I know.
And
yeah, exactly.
There's no possible way that you can somehow stop the recording and then restart the recording.
Right? There's always a big red button, but there's never like a big black button to stop.
Right.
You hit go, and then you're like, what do I even click? All of the other buttons are the same freaking size.
When we want to stop recording this, we have to unplug everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
And luckily it saves it all. But I mean.
Okay. So anyway.
This works. And then there's no possible way to fix it after you're done recording, because it just spits out this like weird VHS looking thing. Then you have to like bring that to the internet, which is just this one guy like in an alley,
right? And
he's like, "Yo, man, I'm the internet," and you give it to him, and it ends up on the internet.
He puts it in his pocket, and the rest is history, as they say.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, so that's how everything works in the future, which we're living. We currently live in the future.
I'm glad that this started from a crappy producer and ended in a weird steampunk future where the internet is run by a dude with a trench coat that you give VHS tapes to.
VHS-like tapes.
VHS-like tapes, right, because it's steampunk.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
Steam-powered VHSs.
God. Anyway, the point is, welcome everybody to PostGrad Movies. I'm Cool Guy. That's the Cognitive Gamer over there, drinking tea noisily and sniffling.
Refreshing.
So anyway,
I'm still pissed about that producer. He's such a...
Before we get anything started anyway, I just want to get a couple things out of the way. First off is the fact that we want to say that we're sorry that we couldn't have the podcast a little bit earlier. Mr. Cognitive Gamer got a little bit under the weather, and he was dying all weekend and early in the week, so he is still kind of dying, but... apart from that, I mean, we have it right now, so we're all good. And we announced it over our Facebook page. So if you did not know that, if you were one of the, I forgot how many people visited the podcast page on the day that we said that we have the podcast up. It was like 10 or 15 or 20 people that visited the podcast page. It was really funny. But anyway, sorry for that. Sorry for that. Just check our Facebook page or whatever and make sure that you can get all the news and all of the Netflix movies and all that from our Facebook page. Just look up PostGrad Entertainment. And apart from that... It
was really just a loyalty test to see if any of you would actually listen to us.
That is the worst. That was totally not what it was at all.
Sorry, I just watched a documentary on Jonestown. So.
Oh, really? Yeah, let's hop right into week. So how was your week? Tell me about that documentary.
You want to start with the documentary? You don't want to start how I had an illness all week?
No, that doesn't matter.
Okay, well, I watched a documentary on Jonestown for class, and that was scary. But at the same time, wouldn't it be weird to be a cult leader?
It would.
Like, you have all these people that just totally listen to you, and you don't care about them.
And you usually... You usually also have a lot of women that listen to you a lot, and they get really creepy weird. Like polygamy... all over orgies, creepy, weird.
Well, it sounded like he was a sexual deviant anyway.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, it was just weird that he started off a cult behind the guise of like social movements, because essentially he started it and was like, "This is a church that accepts both black people and white people," in the 60s, 50s, or 60s.
Right.
So pretty radical for the time, and a bunch of young people, of course, joined, because young people are attracted to that type of thing. I mean, we've all seen Footloose.
Right.
So.
Right, yeah, of course.
Yes. And Hairspray. and all the other ones like that. And then, 20 years later, and he was like, well, let's move to a different country and make our own little area. And there's like 1,000 people there. And then he was just randomly one day was like,
Let's drink the
drink
Kool-Aid.
the poison. But wouldn't it be weird to be a cult leader? Like,
Well, yeah, of course it would be. Yeah.
yeah, they'd just be like, yo, listen to me. Like, why would you want to be a cult leader? I guess out of everything. It's not like you wake up one day, a kid's like, I want to be an astronaut. The other one's like, I want to be a firefighter. The other one's, I want to be the leader of a cult. Like that doesn't happen. So it's do you just kind of like fall into that role, and then he's like, these people can listen to me. Like maybe all the cocaine finally got to him.
You owe me a
or something.
Well, I mean, I think you do. I don't think that you're, like you were saying, born into being a cult leader unless there's a cult leader that I have not heard of that was born into a cult family. But I mean, the only ones that were like that were the ones from Scientology, and they left. So
Where they leave? Where they go?
well, I mean, they left Scientology and they've been talking against it and all that jazz for a while now. It's the same as the one from the Westboro Baptist Church. The son, I believe, he also left the church. So, I mean, it tends to not run in the family is what I'm trying to say. The crazy tends to not run in the family.
I don't know, like, who sets out and just like, you know what, I'm going to start a cult today. But maybe he didn't think he started a cult. Maybe he thought he started a church. Well, he knew that he started a church, but I mean, did he know then in 1950 whatever that their ultimate goal would be to move to a different country and then die?
Probably not.
I don't think so.
No.
Right? Like I think something happened, and I wonder what happened.
Right. Yeah, definitely not. I mean, I think that what tends to happen in these things, at least from my personal opinion, is that it's like greatness. You're not born with greatness. Some people have greatness thrust upon
Speak
them,
for yourself.
kind of thing. But
I was born with greatness.
But the thing is, I think that these people have cult thrust upon them. It's like L. Ron Hubbard with Scientology. He wrote a book, and then people started going like, oh my God, it has teachings. And he's like, yeah, teachings. Right. That's the thing it has inside of it. And he just kind of went with it, Instead of being like, this is totally science fiction, he was like, this is totally science. And that was it. The rest is history. I think that with most cults, the people tend to either not know and then other people start going with it, or they tend to be the ones that say, I'm going to try and start this because I like power a little bit, and then it just kind of gets out of hand, and then everyone dies.
I mean, it's still weird because even back then he was like, all right, let's get in buses. Let's move to California. So, like, obviously, maybe he did set out to command over people.
Well, yeah. He was also kind of a really weird psychopathic person, so.
Really? Yeah. I mean, he wore sunglasses everywhere, so there's that.
I mean, there's songs nowadays written about wearing sunglasses everywhere, so I don't see what that has to do with anything.
You think you're cooler than me?
I don't think I'm cooler than you. My name is Cool Guy, though, so I would think
God, that song
was inherent.
That song and that name.
Anyway, so what class was this documentary for?
It was social cognition. So we were talking about the mentality, like how do you convince others to be part of a cult, and to get to this point where they're like, yo, I'm gonna drink a bunch of poison and poison my sons and my daughters and my friends.
And what did you learn? Tell me all of the information that you know, for reasons.
Well, we haven't really discussed it yet, but essentially, it's a lot of convincing, and then it was the little things, right? It's like join this church, and then move to California, and a lot of people did that, which is crazy. Live on the farm, and then like those people who lived on the farm was just kind of like these small little increments, right? And it was like, oh, do this, start giving your money to the church. Start giving all your money to the church. You should just start living at the church. You should just work for the church full time now. And then, you know what I mean? It's kind of like these small increments that these people found themselves in that type of scenario. It's kind of like when you put frogs into boiling water.
Right.
You want to do it slowly. Yeah. So why wouldn't you just kill the frog first and then put in the boiling water? Anyway, So yeah, that's part of it. And just, I mean, he preached something that they all could get behind, which was, God loves everybody, and if he's wrong about one thing, then he's wrong about this God loving everybody. So he must not be wrong about the other thing. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah,
So it's that kind of that effect, right? Like, so if he's wrong about this, then he's obviously wrong about that. But I believe that, so he must not be wrong about this. So it's kind of like using their beliefs against them.
right.
Also, you targeted a very young, very poor demographic. So it's
Wasn't he also the one that had the like 5 or 7 women, the young women, arrested because they went naked into some sort of a legal building or whatever?
I have no idea.
I forget if that's the same guy.
I don't know.
No, sorry. No, it's not Jonestown. This is the guy that got arrested inside his house, and he had basically a sex ring. Everything that was there was like women, and all the men gave him their wives and stuff. It's weird. Cults are weird.
What?
Yeah. I forget the guy's name, but yeah.
And the wives were just cool with it?
What do you mean though? Yeah, they were all cool with it because he was like new Jesus. He wanted some of that Mary Magdalene from everybody. So,
Cults are weird.
Cults are weird, man.
And then, other than that, I had my thesis proposal on Monday,
Right.
which went fine.
Really?
Except I was like sweating from a fever.
Oh, right.
So that was fun. But my advisor gave me some really good advice, and that was, nobody gives a crap about this presentation. I was like, thank you. So.
Well, I'm glad. If it helped, that's good. I mean,
because really it's like a formality almost.
Right, yeah.
You present this to make sure you're not like killing baby rabbits for no reason, and there's like something not glaringly wrong with your methodology. So
I can just imagine that you were, I mean, all the podcasts ago we were talking about you trying to find the accurate form of punishment that you would give these people.
Right.
And it would just be really funny if like they got something wrong and then you're like, welp, and then you pull out a rabbit and you smash its head in with a hammer a couple times and the person's like, oh God. And then you're like, well, it was all your fault. I'm sorry, Good job answering that question. You can leave now.
It's anticipated. No, it's anticipated. So when they get it wrong, then I have to like lower the hammer a little bit and like start taking aim a little bit more and be like, I'm not joking.
On the third swing, I swear I'll do it.
Anyway, and other than that, I've had the flu, so I've been sleeping. Like, literally, my friends describe it as I went into hibernation. Like, I got really sleepy Friday night around 6, went to bed, and then I slept literally all day Saturday.
Wait. You went to bed at 6, and then you woke up at what time in the morning?
It's like 11 or noon.
Wow. So you basically slept like a lion, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
And then I was up for like 2 hours, and then I fell asleep again. Then I was up for 2 hours, and then I fell asleep again. Literally, I went through, it was like kind of sleep. It was kind of also, I was bedridden because I had such terrible chills and fever.
Right.
So there was that. But, so I slept all day, and then Sunday I slept all day. Monday I had my presentation, so I couldn't sleep all day.
Of course.
But I wanted to sleep all day.
Just fall asleep during your presentation. I think that's the accurate form of punishment.
I fell asleep at like 8 that night, and then I woke up the next day at like 9. And then Tuesday, I went to bed at 10, and then I woke up at 11 on Wednesday.
Wow.
And then last night, I went to bed at a normal time, and I woke up at a normal time. So, hello, world, I'm back. Sickness can't even keep me down.
Except for, the almost week it kept you down.
I got back up, though. I brushed the dirt off. It's fine.
Right.
How I Met Your Mother ended. I guess I saw that.
It did end. Do we want to go into spoilers? We should go into spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you haven't seen it, hop over this bit. Okay, so let's talk about it. What did you think about that? Because I watched that finale as well.
I liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Well, we knew the mother was gonna die like 3 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, but we didn't know that it was going to be all of 5 seconds and it was going to be over.
Wasn't it great?
No, it was not great.
That whole episode moved at a very, very, very brisk pace.
Oh, it did. It definitely did. And it had some freaking fantastic moments. But
like that first one where they were saying goodbye. Oh my god.
Yeah, no.
Like the actors were like they looked like they were saying goodbye to their friends because they're actually saying goodbye to their friends.
Yeah.
They will no longer see them.
Yeah, exactly. And the one that really got to me was the Lily and Robin bit when she was dressed like the whale.
Okay, that was way too distracting. Of her dressed up as a sperm.
Right. That was really funny. But her talking with Robin, it just really kind of resonated with me, at least, because it's the idea of growing up and people going to do different things, splitting apart, and then not being able to see each other again,
Right.
So, and I mean, I guess that's just something that's happening in my life right now with the fact that I'm in Puerto Rico and literally no one that I went to college with is here with me.
Hi.
Hello. But I really like that scene. And then they had, obviously, after she left, the quintessential backup and shot of the entire apartment where they had spent basically all of How I Met Your Mother in. That was the only constant in the series, apart from the bar. It was the bar and that apartment. It was very Friends-esque. Except in Friends, it was like... in this one, it was more like... I'm okay, guys.
Well, Friends was way longer, I felt.
Well, Friends was 10 seasons.
I guess How I Met Your Mother was close to that.
Yeah, 9 seasons, yep.
Friends was just a better... I don't know.
Yes, I think Friends is a better show, definitely.
It had better... it was consistently better, but How I Met Your Mother was really, really good.
Oh, no, I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm just saying, you're right. The consistency of Friends was better because in every single episode, you would laugh. So it was just the situations in there and the characters I really liked. But in How I Met Your Mother, when it was hilarious, it was hilarious. So, yeah. It was more of a roller coaster.
I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 miles.
Oh, man.
I was hoping that the ending credits would actually end with that song. Me.
Right.
That would be great. No. So, okay, let's just dive into the big one. What did you think of Ted getting with Robin at the end?
That was stupid. It was literally the dumbest thing ever.
Why?
Well, because, okay.
It makes complete sense.
No.
It makes complete sense.
No, it doesn't. Okay, the reason why it doesn't is because they spent so much time hammering into your head why Robin was not the correct person for Ted. They spent seasons doing that. And then this last season, they spent the entire season on Robin getting married with Barney and Ted moving on and finding his essentially soulmate. And I think that what they did in the ending, right after the umbrella scene with the mom, when Ted finally meets her, is that they basically rewrote the character. They rewrote everything. They made everything that happened in all of those seasons as growth and development in most of these characters not matter anymore. It just did not
But
matter.
that doesn't do. You have to remember, this entire series was retroactive. Like, it's a retelling from Ted's perspective about what happened. If Ted was truly over Robin, he wouldn't be telling all these stories about how he loves Robin.
No, because the point of the story, according to these people, the writers, the point of the story was to convince the kids that Robin was a part of his life so that he could go with her after the mother died. But however, I think that it would have been a lot better if, since Ted lives through his stories, it would have made a lot more sense for them to have a scene with the mother dying and whatever, and Ted having to let go of the mother just like he had to let go of Robin. And
then it ends? It just ends with the mom.
Yes, it would have been a much better ending.
Excuse me.
I don't want to kill you, but yes, it would have.
Oh my god. And then she died.
Yeah.
Credits! No, that's terrible.
No, and then she dies.
Awful.
How I Met Your Mother.
That's so terrible. What is this, Lincoln? No.
Oh my god.
No. I thought the ending was great. Because I think Ted truly loved Robin, never got over Robin. Even when he had to say goodbye to Robin, it's because she was getting married to his, like, one of his best friends.
They had that whole balloon scene. The one where Robin weirdly floated away from Ted.
Yeah, that was weird.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, so he had to let her go, but sometimes the balloon comes back.
He gave the locket to Barney.
Yeah, but she knew.
Well, yeah, that's not the point. The point is he actually gave it away.
Yeah, but she knew. Which made it even worse, because the fact that she knew was like, oh my god, Ted's actually the one I love. Which then haunted her for the rest of her natural life.
No, because then it was the part where Ted convinced her that she shouldn't be marrying him, that she should be marrying Barney. You remember? They had an entire scene of that in the actual...
Yeah, and that worked out so great because they got divorced, which is fine. I think that relationship was never cool. I thought Barney and Robin was always a terrible pair.
Oh, I agree. I think that Barney and the stripper was the best pair. I thought that...
No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Barney should have never been with anybody.
I don't know.
I thought the stripper was so stupid.
Really?
Not because she was a stripper or anything. It was just... I just don't like Barney in a relationship.
I thought that they got along well together.
Let him be him, damn it.
Whatever. It's cool. Anyway, whatever. So my week, because we're not going to talk about things that make me mad anymore.
Space Jam is the worst movie ever.
So anyway, I started watching House of Cards, and it is phenomenal. Like, phenomenal. It is so good. Such a good series.
How good?
Phenomenal.
Okay. What is it about? Is it about building cards?
No, it's about building buildings out of cards and then having other people precariously walk near your building and then kind of like wobble it, and then you got to kind of protect the building from falling down.
Okay, so it's a video game.
No, it's
it's
a television show.
Oh, and Kevin Spacey's in it?
Yeah, Kevin Spacey's in it, so.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
No! I've been watching Dexter.
Oh,
mostly.
Right. Yeah, that's a show I got to start watching.
Give me the fucking creeps. Yeah. Surprise, motherfucker! The House of Cards is good?
Yeah, no, it's definitely great. But,
okay.
Yeah, and apart from that, my car broke down, so I actually haven't been able to go to the forest at all because...
What happened to your car?
I just started making a weird noise, and then we had an appointment to take it in on Tuesday, and we couldn't take it in, and the dude moved us to Thursday, so... Yeah, so hopefully I finally get the car working after 2 weeks of it not working.
What have you been doing with your life?
You don't want to know. Nasty, nasty things.
And no internet at your house?
Well, no internet in the office. But it's because the freaking thing got pulled off of the roof. It's okay. It got fixed, and now it runs, instead of over the road, it runs across our lawn because it runs from the telephone pole all the way to our roof. So
someone's gonna mow the lawn and just cut the wire.
Right.
And die.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I totally see that happening, considering the fact that the internet wire ran from the telephone pole over the street and to our roof. But when it did that, it was held up an extra like 7 feet up by a metal bar. And that put it higher than the normal electric cables. And somehow something cut it. Like, just, it got caught and it ripped it right off.
Helicopter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the only viable option. But yeah, anyway, another thing that I did this week, as what I do most weeks, is that I watched a movie which you couldn't watch because you were busy dying.
Yes, I was very sick. Cough, cough.
Right. The movie that we watched this week is Noah.
But I could tell you everything that happens in this movie because I've sort of read this Bible story.
So Noah on IMDb has a 6.8. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 76 with a 78 top critic score. And on Metacritic, it's got a 67%. It is directed by Darren Aronofsky. It stars Russell Crowe, Jennifer Connelly, Ray Winston, Anthony Hopkins, Emma Watson, Logan Lerman, Douglas Booth, Nick Nolte, and Mark Margolis. So...
What is this movie rated?
I think it's rated PG-13.
Is it really?
I think so, yeah.
So no nudity?
No, there's no nudity. Anyway, so let's get talking, and by let's, I mean me. I'm gonna start talking. So
Well, I can ask you questions. So, okay, let me ask you something.
Wait. One sentence review.
Okay,
That goes first. And by the way, for everyone that's interested, this will not contain spoilers. Okay?
Why?
I'm gonna try and keep this
I want to know.
spoiler free.
I want to know spoilers.
No.
I want to know about the robots that come out at the end. I want to know.
I'm not gonna talk about those robots, man.
When it starts flooding, does like kaiju like jump out of the ocean, and they're like, "You forgot us."
Rocket fist.
And God's like, "Noah, now that you have the ark, you must build a robot to defeat the kaiju."
Oh my god.
He did write this in 7th grade, and I was writing that type of garbage in 7th grade.
So
I'm sure.
yeah. So anyway, this is not going to contain spoilers.
Son of a
Could
bitch.
you imagine Darren Aronofsky mixed with Guillermo del Toro? What that would make? It would be like a hyper real anime action existential crisis. It would be phenomenal.
Unless they made it like Pan's Labyrinth mixed with Black Swan.
That would be terrifying.
Yeah, a little bit.
All right, but anyway, my one sentence review for this movie is, oh my god, wait a second. I have to replace you in this. Okay, so half me, half you. Okay. Okay.
It was stupid.
No. I got this. No, I got this. A refreshing take on the traditional biblical story that manages to keep its head out of the water. Huh?
Fine.
Was that good?
So there's a flood?
So that, yeah, because there's head out of the water because there's a flood. Anyway, so let's.
All right, let me ask you something.
Talk, yeah.
Okay. So is there a guy named Noah?
Yes, there is.
Does he build an ark?
Yes, he does.
Do animals go on said ark?
Yes, they do.
Is there a flood?
Yes, there is.
Do they survive?
Yeah, they do.
So this is just a Bible story. Why do I want to see this movie?
It's because of what it contains and what it means. Because you know that Darren Aronofsky tends to do things that have a lot of symbolism and a lot of metaphors based on the characters and all that type of stuff.
Yes.
And it's also
I saw Pi.
Right, yeah. It's also very different from what I think people were expecting, which is why it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. I mean, if you check Rotten Tomatoes, for example, even though the percentages are really close to 80% for the movie, the audience score for the movie is like at a 53 or less percent, which is really funny because usually the normal Rotten Tomatoes score tends to be something, and then the audience score tends to be a little bit higher or a teensy bit lower. But in this case, it's almost 30 points lower, which is crazy.
Is it because it's not Christian, or?
It's because it's not what the religious might have been expecting, I imagine.
Why? I mean, there's a flood. Like, what else is there?
It's in the story, Noah was supposed to be this really righteous person that was basically chosen to be saved and his entire family because he was basically the only good person, quote unquote, left on the planet, and everybody else needed to be wiped off. But this movie really kind of brings that into question because all of the characters sort of represent certain types of moralities. So you have Noah, who represents the absolute morality of a situation, and by absolute morality, I mean whatever God says. So
he's playing Javert from Les Mis?
No, he's not.
Does he sing the whole time?
He actually does sing at one point, but that's beside the point.
Really?
Yeah, that's beside the point.
There's a musical part? And then God said to me, I must build an ark. And so I did. I built it with my own 2 hands.
And he's walking along the side of the ark as he's singing that, and there's like floodwaters on the side. No. So
Yeah.
So the point
And
is,
then he falls in.
the point is that Noah is a person that represents unquestioning 100% faith in everything that God says.
Right.
And then you have the antagonist of the story, who is basically the leader of all of these awful people, the humans that are corrupted. And his name is Tubal Cain.
Okay.
And they are the descendants of Cain, if I'm not mistaken, who killed Abel. And he represents basically the polar opposite of everything that Noah represents. So if Noah is unquestioning following of the heart of God, this guy is unquestioning following of the heart of mankind, and the heart of mankind is inherently sinful because of Adam and Eve's sin. So these two characters are sort of battling it out during the entire time. And then you have this character, which is one of Noah's sons, who represents humanity as we know it, humanity nowadays. And that character constantly fluctuates between following Noah and following the other person. His morality is the definition of our morality. It is fluid. It changes based on situations, and it changes based on events and what he perceives to be right and wrong. So it's a really interesting perspective, because in the beginning you're like, yeah, Noah's a great guy, but then after about half of the movie you're like, this Noah guy's kind of getting creepy.
Does he try to like kill his firstborn son?
I'm not gonna tell you.
Does he circumcise himself?
No, that happened a long time ago. But yeah, anyway,
Because didn't Abraham have to circumcise himself?
yeah, Abraham was the one.
Okay.
The point is, it's not the Bible
Don't
story
steal.
that you were
Don't
expecting.
covet your neighbor's wife. Cut off part of your penis. Good stuff.
But yeah, it was great. Though
As good as Black Swan?
personally, in my opinion, I think that it was either equal or greater than Black Swan.
Because I didn't really like Black Swan.
Well, yeah, I know. The point is, this movie was basically like it's basically like a mix between a lot of the other Darren Aronofsky films, but I think that it's all boils down to a mix between the existentialism of The Fountain, but you switch existentialism for morality. You get a bit of the cinematography from The Fountain as well, the brutal reality of Requiem for a Dream, a tiny bit of the weird feel and atmospherics from Pi, and the intensity of Black Swan. So
Ass to ass. With animals. Ass to ass with animals.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about the animals really quick.
Okay.
So all of the animals that were used in this film, except for the doves and the crows or whatnot, were basically animals that were not real. So as soon as the animals started walking towards the ark and all that type of stuff, when they started arriving and blah, 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 I immediately, the zoologist in me was like, I'm going to identify all these animals right now. And I started trying to look at them to make sense of these animals, but I couldn't. I was like, wait, these animals don't make sense, or at least in these proportions. And the more I tried to focus in on the animals, the more I noticed that none of these animals were real animals.
Is it because they are trying to like represent animals thousands of years ago, or at the end of the movie, do you learn this was actually just an Alzheimer's patient's dream? Or like
No.
a boy with autism, snow globe, or
no, it's none of that. The thing is, I think what they were trying to represent was that they had all of the genetics necessary for the animals that we see nowadays, because all of those animals were really weird, I guess, mixes of the morphologies of animals that we see today. So there were a ton of really weird animals that had stripes when they shouldn't have stripes, and had longer necks, or had saber teeth, or, for example, an elephant's tusks. I saw one of the elephants when he went to sleep in the ark, and one of the elephant's tusks, instead of going down and curving upwards and around towards the elephant again, instead of that, it shot out and curved downwards only a little bit. So it was basically like a saber-toothed, I guess, elephant. It was really weird. But again, a lot of these animals were also mixes of animals that existed in prehistoric times as well. Like, for example, that elephant was actually one of the proboscids that existed back in the good old days during the age of mammals. But yeah, the point is, it was really interesting in the way that they approached basically everything in the story. At least in my opinion, it was really, really interesting.
Do they land somewhere and then they realize it's like populated by other people and they're like, what the?
No.
Or do they like run into a bunch of other different arcs and they're like, whoa, crazy?
Nope. Not at all.
What is there a twist that Christians would not appreciate?
It's basically, I think what Christians would not appreciate is one specific segment which shows evolution. And that segment is amazing. That segment is
Is that how the movie ends?
No. It's just a part when they're in the ark and Noah is telling everybody, his whole family, the story of how they got here, the creator story and whatnot. And he starts basically reading by reading, quote unquote, because he doesn't have anything. He's just telling the story oral tradition style. But he basically starts telling them Genesis 1. In the beginning, there was nothing, blah, blah, all that type of stuff. And he just starts, and what you get from when he starts reading it all the way to the creation of mankind is probably one of the greatest moments of cinema, at least in my opinion, from a biologist's perspective. And also a person, I grew up as a Catholic, but I think that was one of the greatest, I guess, depictions, cinematography wise, the way that it flowed, the way that it worked. It was just so wonderful. It was awe-inspiring, and it was almost like shivering. It was so good. It was so well constructed. That scene sells the entire movie.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll watch it, or maybe I'll wait for it to come out on Blu-ray or something.
Right. But I mean, I can see why these people maybe would not enjoy that section of the film. And I mean, also in the beginning of the movie, you basically get a narration of everything that happened early on, from the start, from Adam and Eve, all the way to when Noah is born or whatnot, or when Noah is talking to his father. And you get this zoom out of the world, and you see like the sphere of planet Earth. And then in that sphere, you don't have the normal continents. You have a weird sort of pseudo Pangea looking thing, which again, it's like, the arguments for the animals not being able to reach anywhere from Australia and stuff like that, it goes out the window, because if all of the land masses are connected, then the animals can actually make it to the ark. It's really cool, simple things like that Aronofsky managed to solve, which is great. It's great. And I really enjoyed the things that he did, but I specifically, I think the greatest thing that came out of changes, or at least not necessarily changes, but inclusions in that movie, is the fact that Aronofsky included, for the first time, it is the only Bible movie, okay? Bible movie in general, whether that's Hollywood or whether that's religious, that has ever, that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of them, managed to include, or decided to include, the giants that were a part of biblical history in Genesis. No one does that. No one includes freaking giants. No one. Because how are you going to tell people, yeah, so there were these giants back in the good old days? And then you're like, wait, what do you mean giants? And the people are like, no, okay, just hear me out. So they were angels that wanted to have sex with humankind. So they dropped from the sky onto Earth, and then they started to have sex with humankind, and they made a race of giants. And people are like, what? And it was, he changed their story. So in the actual biblical story, they go down and they have sex with, because they covet humanity's women, and they basically drop from the sky and they procreate with them, and they create races of giants. They're not the fallen angels of basically Lucifer, but they are other fallen angels. However, in Darren Aronofsky's story, they are called the Watchers, if I'm not mistaken. And oh man, it's so cool. these angels, which you have a scene of them sort of hovering over the earth, and then you get the camera that flies towards them, spins around them, and they're just these like crazy wisps of light, almost really angelic, but really wispy. And it goes around them, and you see the earth, and then they sort of like tilt downwards and fly towards the earth. And they land straight into the ground, and it says that as soon as they touched the ground, their form became corrupted. And you see that all of their angelic energy goes into the ground, and it melts the stone around them, and then they break out of the stone, and they're these giant rock golems with multiple arms that are really clumsily moving around the earth. And it's so cool because in this story, instead of them going to procreate with humanity, they go down because they want to help the descendants of Adam and Eve survive. So they go down, and they're basically watching humanity to make sure that it is okay. But the problem is that when humanity becomes corrupted along the way because of what Adam and Eve did, they're no longer able to help humanity because the humans just got too violent, so the humans start killing them. And basically, Anthony Hopkins, who plays Methuselah, who's Noah's grandfather and Emma Watson's great-grandfather, he basically defended the Fallen, or the Watchers, and they basically defend everything from the edges of humanity all the way over to the mountain where Methuselah lives. And it's so cool because the animation for these rock golems is, it's CGI, but every once in a while it's also done almost like puppet-like because they're made out of these lithified fragments of volcanic rock, which is very edgy and very broken. So when they're moving, instead of moving fluidly, they move almost like stop motion animation, and it is so cool. They were easily some of the best characters in the story. But again, I thought it was awesome that these giants from biblical tales were included. And if anyone doesn't believe me that they exist in the Bible, I urge you to read Genesis 6:4. So it's cool. The one thing that I would criticize this movie for, because no movie can be 100% perfect except for Space Jam, the thing that I would criticize this movie for is the fact that it was a little bit overlong. At certain points, it felt like it should have already ended. But again, that's also Aronofsky's style. You see it in a lot of his movies. You do. You really do.
I know, but his style is to be overlong.
Not incredibly overlong, like Peter Jackson overlong. I'm just saying that sometimes you feel like his movie should have ended, but then they kind of keep going a little bit. They still hold your interest, but they're a bit long. I think that this movie could have I think that this movie might have been able to be cut down to like 2 hours maybe, because the movie right now is like 2 hours and 18 minutes or 20 minutes or something like that. I do think that you could have had some shaving down going on in that movie, and it would have still retained everything that it had. But it's general stuff like that sometimes it was a bit flimsy. But then you got stuff like in the beginning of the part where he's telling the story, and then you get the evolution segment. They have the let there be light thing, and it's all darkness, and all of a sudden like it explodes from a central point. Hello, Big Bang. And you get a flash, and in that flash you get this weird design, almost, I guess, meditative design, and it's almost the exact same, if not the exact same, as the design used in The Fountain when Hugh Jackman was floating into Xibalba, into the exploding star. And The Fountain was all about rebirth. Out of death comes birth. It's just so full of everything that I love in movies that I really would give this movie probably an 80%. I would say that it's higher than the ratings give it. And I think that it's definitely affected by butthurt religious people. But I really, really enjoyed this movie. I mean, to each their own, but I do think that this is a valid entry into the Aronofsky filmography.
Yeah, but it sounds like it won't offend Christians, right? Like,
I don't think necessarily offended, but why they got kind of or why they felt kind of about it is specifically because of the fact that they went in thinking that they were going to get a normal Bible story, and it was going to be all feel good and all praise the Lord and God's awesome and Noah's exactly what it says in the Bible and everything goes according to plan and blah 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 blah. And that's not what they got. Like, I went to a packed theater with my parents, and there were people around me that were questioning the stuff that was going on. They were like, why are there giants? And I'm like, have you not even read any of this stuff? Really? Have you not? Do you not know? And they were going like, that doesn't make sense, and that doesn't make sense. And I'm like, no, it makes complete sense. You're just not understanding it. It's just, I don't know. And then some people around me obviously watched quote unquote the entire movie while they were on their phone, like texting the entire time. And then the movie ended and they were like, oh, the movie was okay. And I'm like, you spent your entire 2 hours and 18 minutes texting on the phone, and then you say the movie was all right. No, no, that's bullcrap. That is bullcrap.
That's how people watch movies.
It's just so stupid. It is so stupid. No, you can't judge a movie based on watching it while you're texting. That is crap.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, completely, totally, 100%.
So should we move into our Netflix movie?
Sure, we can move into our Netflix movie. So anyway.
Which was Sizzling Bacon. So our Netflix movie, totally not sponsored by Netflix yet.
Right.
Was Sizzling Bacon.
On IMDb, it's got a 100 or a 1.0. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 99% with a 100% top critic score. And on Metacritic, it's got a 98%.
It stars bacon.
Did you actually
and a pan.
Did you actually look at all of the credits in the end? Because it had a director of photography. It had a casting person. It was hilarious.
No, I didn't.
It was hilarious. They had all of the normal credits, but it was like, why would you even need those people? It's So this Netflix movie, it's called Sizzling Bacon, and I believe it's gone now from Netflix.
Really?
Yeah, I think it's already gone.
Oh.
But it was this hilarious 20-minute video for April Fools, obviously, of bacon sizzling in a pan. And when I say sizzling, I mean sizzling backwards. So it was already basically somewhat fried, and then it unfried over the 20 minutes, and that was it. It was glorious.
It was Memento-esque thriller.
It was
with bacon.
A fantastic short film.
It was great. Nominated for the best bacon short film of the year.
Of the year, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's one movie that you should watch about bacon,
it is Sizzling Bacon, a Netflix original movie.
Yes. But in actuality, we watched a movie almost as thrilling as that movie, and that is Turbo.
And that movie has an actual rating on IMDb of 6.5. On Rotten Tomatoes, it's got a 67 with a 74 top critic score, and on Metacritic, it's got a 58%. It is directed by David Soren, and it stars Ryan Reynolds, Paul Giamatti, Michael Pena, Samuel L. Jackson, Luis Guzman, Snoop Dogg, or Lion, Maya Rudolph, Ben Schwartz, Michelle Rodriguez, Ken Jeong, and Bill Hader, among a bunch of other people. They have a lot of really great stars that offer the voices in this film.
Right.
So anyway.
DreamWorks usually does.
Right. What is your one-sentence review?
Pretty average kids CGI movie.
All right. My one-sentence review is not as crazy as its really weird premise would lead you to believe, but still an enjoyable film overall.
It's all right.
All right, so let's get talking about it.
The snail that races in Formula One.
Yeah. Uh-huh. And?
That's it. That's the whole movie.
Yeah.
I just described it.
Well, yeah.
I don't know. I thought the beginning was way more enjoyable than the ending, for sure.
It definitely was. It was a lot more.
The journey was way better than the race itself.
Yeah. Though the race itself, the racing with the snail in between the cars was really cool. The animation for that was fantastic.
Yeah, it was well animated. But boy, was that ending stupid.
Yeah. It was exactly what you were expecting. I mean, what was it going to be, What was it going to be? There's really no other choice.
Why did they have to train the crows? That was the most unbelievable, stupid part of that whole movie.
They didn't.
It was more believable that a snail could have its DNA fused with a car than a bunch of snails rodeo breaking these group of crows.
That was probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen as a biologist, when it all of a sudden just zoomed in, like the nitrous oxide was flooded the entire compartment, and it zoomed in all the way to the atoms, and the atoms sped up, and then it like zoomed out, and you saw the red blood cells all align, and then just start like going really fast,
Spinning,
and then all of a sudden like his entire bloodstream got filled, and his heart started pumping really, really fast, and he could go fast. That was just the funniest thing to me as a biologist. But I mean, what are you gonna do? You know.
So is it possible?
No. What? No, of course it's not possible. I mean, that's like asking, is it possible for the snail's eyes to become a headlights and for his tail to have like the backup thing? Beep, beep. No. You can't just have lights appear randomly on a snail. No. Why would you even ask me that?
Why are you getting hung up on the lights? I just want a snail to go fast, man. I want it to go over 100 miles per hour, man.
Oh my god.
So no, it's not biologically possible
No.
for a snail.
No.
Is it biologically possible for a snail to race on telephone wires?
Oh my god. Here, okay. Let me explain to you how fundamentally impossible this movie is from literally the thing that probably had most people convinced, which is the fact that a snail's heart is only 2 chambers.
Okay.
And when it pumps blood, it does not pump blood through veins itself. It pumps blood through these little indentations or cavities inside of their muscular mass, and it basically bathes all of their organs and stuff in blood and then retracts it. So it's not like ours, where it basically sends it to the capillaries and you have an interchange and it comes back. No. In this one, it's basically like if you grab the sponge filled with water, and the water's the blood, you put it in the middle of a plate, and then you squeeze, and the water goes everywhere, and then you let it go, and it absorbs all the water again. That's basically how a snail's heart works. So fundamentally,
you could just do that really fast.
From the get-go, from that image of the heart getting filled and all of the blood vessels and stuff all over the place, the video and the entire thing is fundamentally wrong biologically.
Okay. All right.
But we're also talking about a snail that got infused with nitrous oxide. I mean, come on. You're not in it for the biology, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
There's a lot of snail action going on. Why snails? Are snails in?
Snails are just slow. I mean,
I guess.
I also love the fact that they kept on calling Paul Giamatti's character a girl.
Why? Is that like a secret fantasy of yours or something?
No.
That Paul Giamatti in snail form would be a female?
No. But, I mean, the reason why that's funny, at least to a biologist, and why I laughed at that part where it was like, oh, you're so cute, and he's like, why does he think I'm a girl or whatever, is because most land snails are hermaphrodites.
Oh, good.
I mean, there was a moderate amount of biology jokes. Usually when you have films like that are made by like Pixar or those types of people, and you have talking animals, you have a significant amount of biology jokes that they make. And that's part of the cool charm of certain movies, because it's things that people will laugh about, but some people might not get. But I enjoyed that. Anyway, if we're talking about the actual film itself, though, the film was really, I mean, it was insanely colorful. It was almost hyper real in the way that it dealt with things.
Movie about a snail that races is hyper real.
Right. But I mean, I'm saying that from a filmmaking perspective, because for the first time, it was a movie that was basically, I don't know, really high contrast, and the sky was not always, blue with clouds. Most of the time it was actually overcast, which was really interesting, but it gave everything a very different type of feel, I suppose. It was just really cool. They had a lot of really interesting filmmaking choices that they made in that movie, which was nice. I mean, it was nice.
Can I make a comparison here? This is like Turbo is the poor man's Ratatouille.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that. Yeah, yeah.
It's the same story, man.
Well, I mean, ish. The same story
And
ish.
instead of a brother, it's a father. They all have to do jobs as an animal, and then one animal doesn't want to be the same job as the other animals, so it disappears from the other animals, and then the only difference is it gets superpowers.
And then
but I
and
mean,
then it teams up with a chef.
and then it teams up with the chef.
Right.
Yes.
Well, teams up with a bad chef because the other guy couldn't make tacos to save his life. But yeah, and then they eventually work together to overcome whatever the heck was going on. And the animal is the one that's better at doing that than the actual person himself at doing the activity. Yeah.
Right.
No, I can totally see that. I can see that. Yeah.
Okay.
But admittedly, it was funnier than I thought it would be.
Yeah, it was all right. Samuel L. Jackson's character was pretty great.
Like you said, in the beginning sequences were, or at least the beginning segments, the journey was better.
It was a 3-act play. And the first act was really good. The second act was okay at the taco shop. The third act was kind of just plain stupid.
Right. Yeah. But, you know, I mean, what was your favorite part of the movie?
I think anything with Paul Giamatti acting, because his voice acting was surprisingly amazing. Like, his voice acting was really, really good.
It was. Paul Giamatti, man.
Yeah.
Paul Giamatti.
Paul Giamatti's my favorite. He's one of my favorite actors. I hope he listens to this podcast and is just kind of like, thank you.
Or more like, thank you.
Thank you. As he sits on the bus going to his next acting job. I guess he could drive.
Oh my god. I really like the part where Turbo was basically drinking from that really crazy and weird energy drink or whatnot. And
Okay.
it's like amp drink does blah 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 blah, and he was reading the entire thing, and then all of a sudden he says the entire line of all of the Surgeon General warnings, and then he takes a drink and he goes like, ah, "That's awesome," and then he keeps on drinking. Ugh.
Did you think at first that the energy drink was gonna spill into the electrical socket?
Yes.
And then...
Yes,
Okay.
and it was gonna give him the superpowers.
Right. Which I feel would have been way better than getting drugged into a car. But they needed to like elongate it a little bit more. Like, stretch.
Though honestly, the racing aspects and the car design and all that stuff was really cool.
It was Fast and Furious for kids, that part.
It was. It really was. Definitely, yeah.
I don't know. The whole movie was stupid.
I don't know. It was better than I thought it was gonna be.
I bet kids like it.
Yeah, well, of course, kids love cars. I mean, hello.
And talking everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right, so do you think that this movie deserves the rating it has on Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, or Metacritic? Metacritic is 58, in case you forgot. IMDb is 65. Rotten Tomatoes is 67 with a 74. Top critics.
Yeah, that all sounds about right.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd probably give it around a 60.
I think I'd be around 65, 70 or so. Maybe not.
By the way,
but 65.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So the guy was a taco chef, right?
Yes.
Can somebody actually make a taco that tastes better than other tacos? Like, all tacos kind of like...
I don't know, man.
Kind of taste the same, man.
I don't know, man. I've had some pretty great tacos that taste better than other people's tacos. So
I mean, it all comes down to the meat and how you spice the meat.
yeah, I mean, it also depends on the type of tortilla that you have, and or if you make it yourself and how you fry it. I mean, it really does depend.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think tacos are all pretty constant. I don't know. Like, we can all agree that Taco Bell tacos are just awful.
Right.
But, like, you know, actual Mexican food tacos are pretty good. I don't know.
Speaking of which, have you tried the Taco Bell's breakfast or whatever?
No, that looks disgusting. I care for my health, sort of. What is it? It's a taco made out of a pancake and a sausage?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, no, I'm not eating that. Are you eating that?
No.
Because you shouldn't.
No.
Exactly.
Anyway, that is it with our Netflix
It's a good commercial,
movie.
though.
It is a good
With Ronald
commercial.
McDonald.
Yeah.
I am Ronald McDonald. Slow.
But yeah, so we're moving on to our new to DVD and Blu-ray and theaters. And new to DVD and Blu-ray this week, we have Anchorman 2, who the Cognitive Gamer's dad said was an awful movie. We have...
I think he said it was complete ass or something. But
yeah. We also have 47 Ronin. We have The Pirate Fairy. Don't ask me. We have the Bagman, Knight of Badassdom, and at Middleton. It's so cool that we've been doing this podcast so long that a movie that had a limited release months and months ago, Knights of Badassdom, and that we talked about it, how cool that sounded, is finally getting released on DVD and Blu-ray. That's cool. We've been around for a while, man.
Yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And moving on to theaters, this week opening, we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. We also have
Ooh, that sounds cold.
Right?
Good thing it's coming out in May, April.
Wow. You are lost, man. We also have Dom Hemingway: Under the Skin in limited release. The Unknown Known in limited release. Alan Partridge limited. Frankie and Alice limited. Afflicted limited. And also in limited release, Nymph Volume 2.
You know, you can just rent that off of Amazon.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm saving it. I'm saving it for a special moment because we're not going to see Volume 1 alone and then Volume 2. No. We're going to watch both of those together as they should be watched.
Just 6 hours of pure
6 hours of raunchy, terrifying sex.
It's like your weekend, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yes.
Except if by sex you mean with myself.
It's still terrifying.
Apart from that, we have news, which we are moving on to right now. And we have 2 trailers this week, which we will start with. The first trailer is for a documentary called The Hornet's Nest. So Cognitive Gamer will watch it, and then we'll talk about it. So we will see you then. All right, go on.
That looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. It looks really great because of the fact that it seems like it's going to be one of those documentaries that is horrifying because you're witnessing the realities of war. However, it does seem to be one of those America kind of documentaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's okay too.
It is okay, but at the same time, it's one of those things that could cloud the inherent message of the movie, you know? And also, the trailer made it seem like it was just a normal run-of-the-mill Hollywood movie.
Yeah, but how do you get people to watch a documentary now? And that cameraman who's following around those soldiers?
Right?
Holy crap.
Right?
That guy has just steel cojones, man.
Oh my god, it's insane. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing, and if it comes to theaters near us, or if it's in limited release or whatever, I would be very interested in watching that movie, because, yeah, it looks really cool.
Yeah, well, cool. Yeah, yes. It just seems like there hasn't been a good documentary on an actual soldier's life in the Afghani-Iraqi war.
Right. Or soldiers' lives in general, because this movie seems like it's focusing on these soldiers overall.
Right. So you said there's another trailer?
Yes, one more trailer. And that trailer is for a movie called Lucy.
I have 3 comments on the Lucy trailer.
Okay.
Number 1. So do you know in Her, when Scarlett Johansson's character says she has to leave because she's becoming too infinite? This is where she goes. Number 2. It is impossible. Okay, it's impossible. We use 100% of our brain every single day.
Yep, same thing I was going to say.
Number 3, this is the same as the Bradley Cooper movie, just with a lot more guns and psychic powers.
Though it seems a lot better than the Bradley Cooper movie because there's
that movie was actually surprisingly pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? I never watched.
Yeah.
Limitless? No.
Limitless was actually pretty good.
Really?
Yeah.
All right.
Did you ever see it?
No, I didn't.
Well, it was pretty good.
All right. Well, I think that this movie actually looked a lot better because of the psychic powers. And notice, I saw something that I think that they changed while they were in production of this movie because they learned from Limitless. He didn't say, we only use 10% of our brain. He said, we only use 10% of our brain's capacity. And I'm like, oh, come on. Oh, come on.
Well, that's a mythological quote.
Yeah, right.
Right. So.
But I'm glad that they changed it. At the same time, though, it's still wrong.
I mean, it means exactly the same thing. We use 100% of our entire brain and our brain capacity. So.
Yeah.
I know it's depressing for people to know that because.
They want to think that they can achieve more.
Right. Just by taking a strange illegal drug.
Or by having it
in Scarlett Johansson's
inside their body and then kicked and broken.
Right.
Honestly, though, I like the psychic superpower aspect of it, so I think I'm actually going to watch that movie. However, you also gave me a trailer, which was the plane's fire and rescue trailer. And
Yes, it did.
And I think that this trailer makes the movie seem a lot better than the first Planes.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of one of those Christian movies that are really uplifting.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
The visuals are gorgeous, though. Oh my god. It looks like such a pretty movie.
Yeah. But it looks bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not going to be very good, but it looks beautiful. So, I mean,
Yeah.
whatever.
I like the use of colors and everything.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Planes is just, it's a kid's movie made for kids.
Garbage is what you're saying. Garbage.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
yes.
Moving on to more news, we have the fact that Brad Pitt is slated to make a film about Anonymous, the internet activist group, in the fact that they were involved in the Steubenville rape case, where the jocks from this one high school raped a girl in a party, and then they were basically almost getting off of the charges and whatnot. And basically, Anonymous started interfering in that. So it's an interesting idea. I don't know how you could make a film about that. I mean, it would be if you could make it well, it would be a very powerful film. But yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, we have Boondock Saints 3 is currently being written.
God.
Yep. Unnecessary sequel. Unnecessary.
There was another gunfight.
There was another Bible quote in the middle of a church. Yeah. Okay. Also, we have the Splinter Cell movie grabs Sheldon Turner for their script, and Sheldon Turner is an Oscar-nominated writer. So that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, but Splinter Cell is also a book series, so that one, that one has a little bit of more of a chance of surviving. It is a video game, yes, but the late Tom Clancy,
is turning in his grave.
No,
he's.
You'd really like to see this
getting
movie.
Showered in.
Splinter Cell has always been one of those movies or that video game that people have wanted to make a movie of, because it would be a lot easier to make that because Secret Agent.
Right, of course, yeah.
I have a bunch of news.
Okay.
By the way,
I have two more. So go ahead.
Okay. So one is Frozen, now officially the highest-grossing animated movie of all time.
Wow, nice.
Yep. So go Frozen. All right, what's your next news story?
Okay, so my next news story is that David Webb, who's the co-writer for the original Blade Runner, is not involved in the reboot, or at least in the writing of the reboot. So it might actually have a new writer, and it is probably going to suck. Why are they remaking a cult classic that is really highly regarded by literally everyone? That's the equivalent of if they tried to reboot the original Terminators. You wouldn't do that. You can't.
But they're doing it, sort of.
What? No. I'm saying like a remake of the original Terminator. You don't do that.
Whatever.
No, it's stupid. This movie's gonna be awful. Anyway, go ahead.
Harry Potter spin-off series Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them is planned as a trilogy.
I don't see how they could stretch that into a trilogy.
It's a whole new book series, or a whole new.
It's one book.
Well, it's the movie's about how this person wrote the book.
Right, yeah.
So it's not actually based on the fictional book.
Yeah, but I mean,
So it's not one book. I
could see this as more of a sort of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. style television series, You don't
know? Are you J.K. Rowling? Are you writing this money printing machine?
No, but I mean, I could see it more as a television series where you have him as a narrator narrating all of his misadventures, kind of thing. Yeah,
that's interesting. All right. Do you have another news story?
Yes, I have a bunch of new Godzilla posters that I want you to see.
Oh God!
Shut up! I like Godzilla.
All right, I'm looking at the posters now.
The fact that it looks exactly like the original Godzilla, as in the original Godzilla's design. However, it looks like Godzilla is enormous. I mean, seriously, how does a city stand a chance? Look at that tail. Look at it.
It's also just a poster, so.
Yeah, but look at it. Sorry, I'm really excited for Godzilla. Anyway, your news.
I don't know why you're so excited for it.
Shut up. Your news.
It doesn't look that good.
Oh my God, I'm going to kill you. We're gonna have a lot to look forward to when it comes out.
A dead body found on the seal set of the Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it was just this poor boy. I think killed himself on the set, which sucks. So.
Wow.
But I don't think he was part of the film crew or anything. But still.
That's awful.
Yeah, that is awful. It sucks.
Yeah.
That's weird how that type of stuff happens.
Right.
New Pink Panther movie will feature hybrid CG and live action.
Wait, you mean not the Pink Panther?
Yeah, no.
Okay. So basically it's gonna be a Who Framed Roger Rabbit style movie.
I assume.
All right, cool. I mean, if it's good, it's good. I don't know, but we'll see.
Will Arnett, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles interview, says Megan Fox is a butt-kicking April O'Neil. So I'm just using this as an excuse to say, what'd you think of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles trailer?
I thought that it looked like a Michael Bay produced film.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, also the character design for the turtles was weird with those really weird nostrils and creepy lips.
They look more like turtles.
No, they don't. They look like people. That's not what turtles look like.
I don't know. Have you ever seen a turtle?
Are you kidding me? That is literally what I'm going to be studying in my master's degree, herpetology. Oh my god.
I thought you were doing evolution.
Well, yeah, but I'm studying with a herpetologist. No.
Turtles aren't they're amphibians. They're not reptiles.
Wow. Wow. Okay, next news. God damn it.
But it looks pretty good.
I mean, honestly, the trailer looks all actiony and whatnot. Looks decent, but it looks just like every action movie except this one's gonna have a lot of high contrast. It looks like the Amazing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Mix Amazing Spider-Man with Ninja Turtles, and you get this trailer. That's basically what it looks like.
I don't know. I think it could be pretty good. Amazon Fire TV is now a thing.
Amazon Fire TV? What?
So it's like Apple TV, but from Amazon.
Huh. Interesting.
It's $100. They could play video games.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
So does it connect to the Kindle Fire, I'm imagining, or the Kindle?
No, they're just using the brand name.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And the last set of news, or last piece of news, is Conjuring sequel hit with lawsuit.
Really? Why?
The Evergreen Media Group, licensors of the rights of the original film, alleges they were not adequately compensated by New Line Cinema and its parent company Warner Brothers for continued use of said rights, involving the case files of paranormal investigators Lorraine and Ed Warren.
Well, I hope that this goes to court and we don't get a sequel, because that sequel sounded...
Come on! I think any type of sequel with Ed and Lorraine Warren would have been awesome.
Only if it's directed by James Wan.
I don't know if that's what you want. He's a pretty hit or miss director.
That's true. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, Saw was okay.
Whoa, wait, did you say Saw was okay?
Yeah.
No, Saw was...
Is Saw coming back?
I hope not. Anyway, with that, I think we are done. So, thank you all for listening. I am Cool Guy.
Thank you.
You can follow me at the Right Pad.
Thank you.
That weirdo over there is the Cognitive Gamer. You can follow him at CognitiveGamer on Twitter. We're also on Facebook, PostGrad Entertainment, or facebook.com/PostGradENT for all of your movie news and also anything that we do over in our YouTube channel, PostGrad Games, which you can type into YouTube and find us. We do a ton of awesome games about everything. Should you play it? Playthroughs, let's plays. We also do a ton of sci-shows where we talk about science while we play games, and it is a lot of fun. The Cognitive Gamer also has blogs that he does because he has a lot of free time.
That's not true. I do have blogs, but free time now. You can find me at electricfeast.com, though I haven't published anything with them in like a month because of...
reasons.
Well, yeah, school, mostly. It's crunch time, so... like, I have to pump out a new draft of my thesis in like a week. Anyway, you can find me on IGN.com under the blogs. Just search The Cognitive Gamer.
Right.
All one word.
Yeah, yeah. And you, by the way, have you been playing Infamous on Twitch?
Yeah, I actually beat the game.
Nice.
So I didn't know I was close to the end of the game, and I was like, I think I'm about ready to record. I have the powers. I think I'm good to go. And then I did one more mission, and it was like, good job, you beat the game. And I was like, oh, shit. So, Whoops-a-doodles.
Right.
I didn't know I played it that much.
Right.
But yeah, it's a good game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we have our Twitch stream at PostGrad Games. So if you go to twitch.tv/PostGrad Games, we are right there. So we will be streaming. And remember, everything that you want to know, you can find on PostGrad Entertainment on Facebook if you want to follow us, keep up to date. And we would really like to freaking talk to you because we get a ton of people that listen to the podcast and no one wants to talk to us.
Just email us.
Really,
man.
email us postgradentertainment@gmail.com.
We don't bite
Tweet
that hard.
Talk to us, leave comments on our YouTube videos, whatever, just whatever. You know, it's we want to be involved with you guys as much as you guys listen to all of our stuff. So anyway, thank you all for listening, and we will see you next week.